Hello, and welcome to this season of Alter Eagle. I am your host, Laura Crago. Let's keep the conversation going. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online. Remote therapy sessions, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. Click the link in description and receive 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. And by clicking that link, you support this channel. Plus, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. I was struggling for a long time, and BetterHelp was where I found my therapist, Whitney, who I still see weekly for almost 2 years now. So, if you're struggling, like I was, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in description or go to betterhelp.com/alter eagle. That's betterhelp.com/alter eagle. There's no better time than now to start your mental health journey. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Talking to Joe Mahoney today, and I like to say Mahoney. A little over a year later, catching up from when we launched the podcast, and have had many interactions with you over the year. Obviously, was the MC for the Geyser Center Fashion Show in the fall, which was such a fun event and really successful. That's something you guys have been doing that was the 5th year?
And that was our technically 4th year. It should have been our 5th year, but with COVID, it was put on hold. So that was our 4th one. Our 5th one is coming up in October of 2025. And we have some, fun, new, different spins in the works for our 5th year.
Nice. Exciting. It's a really exciting event for anyone who's listening. It's typically at the Butler Country Club, which I'm assuming it's going to be at the Country Club again.
It will still be at the Country Club on October 19th of 2025. We are hoping that we walk into a Steelers bye week.
Yes.
Because it will be a Sunday brunch.
Yep. And we're like, we can't miss that Steelers football, even though we have no idea what's going on with the team yet and our quarterback. What's happening? What are we doing?
I know.
What are we doing?
One knows.
Nobody knows.
No one knows right now.
Hopefully,
it's a little bit of excitement.
But hopefully it's a bye week, and it's an exciting event because a lot of different shops in Butler County are featured. We try to really focus on, local shops and boutiques, all from, the whole Butler County, from Cranberry, Zealy, Butler downtown, up into Slippery Rock area. We try to pull from all over the county, just local stuff that you can't find in the big stores. At the mall, we really try to boost the local shops, the local shop owners, the local business owners. So we have a vendor show first, where, in the past couple years, we've kind of had an eclectic mix of clothing and food, chocolatiers and cookies, vendors, bakeries, intermixed with housing wares and that sort of stuff. And this year, I think we're really going to focus it on just clothing and accessories in the vendor show. And then the fashion show will start, which is a luncheon where we have, somebody who has successfully completed the Geyser Center programming speak about the impact Geyser has had on their life and the recovery has had on their life and successful recovery, and how Geyser has led them to that point of successful recovery and healthy living. We've alternated years of having female speakers, male speakers. We like to alternate, those gender perspectives of it, because we do gender-specific programming at Geyser as well. So we like to bring that kind of flavor
into play.
Okay.
There, and then we'll have basket raffles, anywhere from 30 to 40 baskets that are all donated from donors, different shops and businesses throughout the community. Really nice baskets. We have a basket raffle. We have the show itself where some of the vendors that participate in the vendor show will, have maybe, 3 to 5 models, kind of walk the runway that we set up. And our MC will narrate their walk. And, that's another way for us to kind of promote their clothing for our people to buy.
Yeah.
The guests in attendance to buy it. And, it's just a nice day. It's an uplifting day. It's a great way to connect the community to Geyser. And it's our biggest fundraiser of the year.
Yeah. And last year we did a live auction.
We did a live auction. We did our live auction last year. And we live auctioned a spa basket.
It was loaded. Yeah. I think it was $6,500 value.
$6,500 it was valued at. Mm-hmm. So we did a live auction for that. The year before, we live auctioned a Kenny Pickett jersey.
Nice.
And who
bring
knows
your husbands, ladies. Bring your husbands, because you just never know.
The thing. I know people hear fashion show and they think, it's a ladies' day out, which is great. But really, men can come as well. It's not just specific to women. We do have, men's clothing there as well. We have Steeler tickets on silent auction, Penn's tickets on silent auction.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys did have that silent auction out there.
Yeah,
and you had those
silent auction.
The bar stools that you were selling.
Bar stools, golf packages, So we have stuff for everybody. And it's an uplifting day. I mean, I think everybody leaves there learning a little bit more about Geyser, learning about our mission, and leaves there feeling just good. I think, and restoring, hope.
Well, that's what people need, because I know that there's substance abuse epidemic in Butler County, and
there's still a stigma.
And there is still the stigma, and that's one of the biggest things. And so many topics that I'm covering, stigma comes up. And it's interesting how we do live in a very, religious county. And I always tend to shift to that topic, because why do you think we are so judgmental when it comes to looking at someone who's probably at the lowest point in their lives?
Right.
And assuming that we know how they got there, right? There's a lot of assumption when you see someone. And I've heard people actually say, well, it's not my problem, or it's not my responsibility to get them. They got themselves there. It's like, how do you know that though? Because there's a mix of whether it's substance or trauma or even mental health, right?
Yep. That's a great question. So, kind of two thoughts that I would have on that is, historically speaking, it's human nature to kind of fear what we don't understand. Mm-hmm. And I think unless somebody has been directly impacted by a loved one's maybe substance use, or they themselves have been directly impacted, they might not quite understand it. So something that somebody doesn't understand, they might have a fear of. Mm-hmm. And stigma, a lot of times, regardless if it's substance abuse or something else, is driven by fear. So I think there's a fear of it. And that's ultimately what is driving the stigma against it. And also, with that fear, there is that misconception, as you touched on, of, they did it to themselves. And, that's kind of the misconception out there. They just, they just drank themselves like that. Or they, snorted too many pills and ended up like that, or they shot up too many times. Mm-hmm. And they did that. They could stop at any time. That's a common misconception. And really, substance use and abuse and addiction is so much more complex than that. It's truly a disease of the neuroscience and the neuropsychology in the brain and the neurochemistry, and it's kind of this kind of perfect storm of an interaction sometimes between the neurochemistry and maybe the mental health of a person and their past traumas of a person. But, I think and maybe their physical health, maybe there's something going on with their physical health too. We see that a lot. There's a lot of underlying physical health issues. And
yeah.
Go ahead, Laura.
No, you go. You keep going, and then I'll.
And all those kind of those chemicals inside the person's brain, inside their body, start to kind of interact in a very dangerous way. And what we, see is that really it's while we in the field don't necessarily look at it as a quote unquote disease or medical model, it really is. Addiction kind of starts from a diseased place. And I don't mean that disparagingly. But what I mean is these are people that are truly sick with an illness that can get better. And that's the important message to take away when you're looking at something through a disease model or a medical model, that it is an illness that can get better. It's not a life sentence.
Yep.
It's not terminal. It doesn't have to be. There is hope. There is treatment. There is recovery. There is a ton of good treatment options out there for people. So, I think it's that just a lot of misconception out there. And we try to really combat that stigma through education in the community and through events like the fashion show, through pickleball, through being as visible in the community as possible. So, when people hear the Geyser Center, they don't think of us as, what's the Geyser Center? That place up on the hill in our community that we don't talk about? No.
Yeah.
We're part of your community because the people here that come here, our clients, are part of your community.
Yes. And they need help.
They're your neighbors. They're your loved ones. They're your family. And they need help too.
Yeah.
So we're all in this together. And that's the message that we keep trying to get out there, is that, we're all here together in this. And the only way we're going to, somewhat get ourselves, and by ourselves, I mean our communities and our neighborhoods, in a better spot with addiction, is by working together on it. And by doing that, meeting people from a place of empathy and compassion.
Hear, hear. Yes. Okay, Joe. I did give you the applause. You're making strides for sure, but I really liked what you said. You made that reference of, the guys are that place up on the hill, and a lot of times the stigma behind it is, that's the place where using the term addicts, we're not using that term. Because if we look at ourselves as humans, all of us have our vices, all of us have our things. Some people have the things that they don't recognize, they're negative. I mean, I think a lot of people can safely say that our phones, social media has become it's an
addiction.
Yeah, an epidemic. It's a problem. I was reading something the other day, and I found myself recently. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not only just turning my alarm off to get up in the morning, because we use our phones now for alarms, but then I'm laying in bed and looking at things on my phone.
Scrolling.
And then a good probably solid 15, 20 minutes have gone by, and I'm like, I just wasted 15, 20 minutes on nothing. Absolutely nothing. It wasn't as if I was checking my email for a response or I missed a phone call.
You're just scrolling.
I'm just scrolling for no reason. For no reason. You were talking about physical health, and that's a big one because, I'm a person who grew up as a dancer, went on to have a professional career. I was also an athlete. I ran in college. I continued to be an athlete in my career for a long portion of time, and I noticed that when I wasn't being physical, and it doesn't mean intense for everyone.
Right.
For some people, walking's a big thing now.
Walking.
And there's a lot of people. Yep. Because I know Alyssa's been saying that she's been going on walks.
That's how she gets the energy through herself.
Yes. And
that's
so
how she gets the energy out.
But it's getting started. It's just starting it because we are, as humans, we naturally are creatures of habit. So if you are set into a habit, something you learned growing up or in your household, it just seems normal to you. It seems natural to you. It seems natural to come home, to sit down in front of the TV, turn on the TV, and then make dinner and sit in front of the TV and watch TV while you're eating your dinner, and that's where you are until you go to bed. For some people, that is normal behavior, but it's not healthy behavior, and it doesn't.
Exactly.
It's not
but
going.
It's a habit.
It's a habit, but it can also affect your mental health. Because I know I've gone through a lot of pretty severe injuries in my time as a professional athlete and a professional dancer, and I'll tell you what, it's almost instantaneous. I can feel myself going into that depressive state because I'm not.
You don't feel good.
Yeah, I'm not getting those endorphin rushes. I'm not getting that high from working out and feeling really good about myself.
It's all interconnected.
We used to always talk about
your mind, your body, your spirit. I mean, spiritually, it's all tied in together. And that's really what we do at Geyser and in the addiction treatment space in general is recognizing the whole person, the holistic look at your mind, your body, your spirit.
Yeah.
Well, it all works together.
Well, and that's why, you guys doing the whole pickleball thing. So talk really quickly about that. Like how many years have you been doing that?
Well, this is only our second tournament coming up on
May 3rd.
It's going to be at Ritz Park this year.
Okay.
So we're going to have more courts.
Where's Ritz Park?
Ritz Park is, great question. I am not from Butler. I cannot explain you how to get there.
Joe?
I know. I cannot explain you how to get to Ritz Park.
It's okay. We welcomed you in.
It is a bigger park than we had last year.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have more courts than we had last year, so we can take more teams. So we're gonna. Last year we took 32 teams. This year we can take 64. Pickleball teams. We had last year. It was very successful. We had a wait list actually.
You're like turning people away. You're like the bouncer at the door. You're like, sorry guys, can't come in. This club's full.
First come, first serve, and we filled out quick.
That's awesome.
Quick. So we have a bigger court this year to play on, and it's it's a fundraiser, but it's a fun fundraiser. And again, we're in the community. That's right there in the community.
It's physical.
It's by Rachel's Roadhouse.
Got it.
Just hit me. It's by the Boulevard.
Okay, perfect. What is it about
food truck and music and
Well, I'm actually gonna be at another charity event because I know Ave was asking me.
You're in high demand.
I'm gonna be doing something for a Haiti relief fund that my nephew's wife does. They're in DC. They work out of DC. He works out of the Children's Hospital there. That's where they met. And she's in a different position now, but she does that. And I had her on the podcast, and I was like, oh, well, when is it? I should come and help with that. She's like, oh, and she told me when it was, and I signed up right away. And then Avi's like, hey, do you want to be involved with pickleball? And I said, yeah. I haven't played pickleball, but I'm really interested, and I'm a bit of a daredevil. So whenever I get into physical activities, I'm always like, I hope I don't break something. Like something's going to break, like a finger or something. But it's that same weekend. So I do apologize. I'm not going to be there. But maybe I'll get to one of your practices and learn a little bit about the pickleball. And then the one other thing I did want to ask you about, a really exciting event that I was at, Geyser received the Community Champion Award this past November.
We did.
And that's
for Ellen's House.
For Ellen's House, yes.
Yeah, which is our women's recovery home that had opened in fall of 2024. It is the first one in Butler County and the first one on this side of the state, southwestern PA, that is licensed for women with children.
That's fantastic.
And these are for women that, really should be in the last stage of their recovery journey. And this is more like transitional housing to really kind of, get them stabilized in the housing phase. So, we can kind of reduce that barrier and that stress from them maybe for 6 to 12 months while they find permanent housing, get on their feet with employment. All those pieces falling into place. So we have a beautiful home on East Brady Street that we renovated. And we can take 12 women and we can take, children up to the age of 12 with them. And this is part of their reunification process as well with their moms. That's
fantastic.
So, we've been excited about that. And again, that's kind of part of the whole person. This is now kind of really incorporating to a different level to kind of their family unit.
It's hard for a lot of women who are, raising children on their own or perhaps, have separated from their partner, whatever that might be. And having feeling is not the word I'm looking for, but having the belief that they can do it, right? And sometimes all they need is just that little bit of support, that little lift, and being in an actual home, right?
Yep.
To give
it's
them
a
that
home.
Yeah, it is. It is.
In a
Yeah.
nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safe neighborhood. There's an yard, an outdoor space for them. There's a dining room table they can eat at. Just all that sort of stuff. Warm, hot water.
Things that a lot of us take for granted at times.
Granted,
yeah.
That they have now that hopefully kind of gives them at least that peace of mind. While they search for permanent housing and a job and employment and, all those pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important for us to have something like that. And I think really makes you stand out. And what you said is that it's the first licensed women's, home in southwestern PA. That's humongous.
And the Butler community has been great. They have been so welcoming of this home.
That's
the
wonderful.
Goodwill has been wonderful. The Butler AM Rotary is sponsoring and fundraising to renovate the entire attic space there to make it into another living area for the children and their moms in the home. So it'll be a nice family-friendly space up in the house. It'll give them like a second living room, essentially. There, which has been incredible. We've had donors come in, donations come in, to help with various aspects of the house. It's just been really, really heartwarming to see the kind of support that has come out from the community for this.
That's fantastic. I have a thought, but I'm going to share it with you when we stop recording here. I'll tell you real quick before we get off the phone.
Okay.
Something I want to do to raise money for them.
Oh,
so,
nice. Okay.
Yeah. But
and one last thing I do want to plug coming up at Geyser.
Yeah.
We are in, I don't want to say early stages, but mid stages of expanding into Greene County.
Oh.
Which is, for those that don't know, probably the most southern, kind of tip of southwestern PA. Very rural, very impoverished county. We're kind of on that West Virginia border.
Yeah.
And we will be opening a traditionally it was called a detox. Now it's referred to as a withdrawal management center, which we don't currently have. And Greene County has welcomed us with open arms, has seen a great need for this. So we will have a 10-bed detox withdrawal management unit down there, hopefully coming mid to late summer of 2025.
Wow, that's exciting. And I llove that you're going to a place that it needs. It needs it,
and no one wanted to go there, because it's so rural, so impoverished, but it's so needed, and it's not just for Greene County residents, it is open to other counties as well. And, our goal is to kind of support the counties all over, that are in need of this.
I love that. You're like the Wizard of Oz, but you're like not hidden behind the curtain,
No, I try to hide behind the curtain, but
no. Technically, I'm the Wicked Witch with the flying monkeys. So, but I'm trying to be a good witch. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I will look at, as an actor, I look at films and my actor friends. When you're an actor, it makes sense. And I'll ask my friends who aren't actors, they're like, what? I don't know. I never thought of it that way. I'm like, you should. If you watch a movie that you really like, it's like, well, who would you be? If you were in this movie, who would you be? Almost every film that you love, you would know who you would be in that film.
Oh,
I know. Like, what's your favorite movie?
Mine. I'm not a movie guy.
Okay.
I'm more of a TV guy.
Okay, so TV show.
My Friends.
Yeah.
Classic.
Okay, so
The Office.
Who would you be in Friends?
As embarrassing to say, Ross.
Yeah, I think it is, but isn't. I mean, he, you gotta love him in his own way, right?
Yeah, he's a little quirky.
He's quirky. He's nerdy.
The Office.
I do, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
My favorite movie, though. I mean, I'm thinking The Departed has always been.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a deep one.
Yeah.
It's kind of deep. Yeah. Cool. I mean, hey, okay, Ross. I'm gonna start being like, okay, Ross. I'm just kidding. Just because you like dinosaurs, that's fine, right? You have 2 boys, so most boy dads and boy moms are into dinosaurs because
you have to be.
I don't know, unless your kids don't like dinosaurs, I'm totally off.
No, you know what they went. I mean, they did when they were like little. They're more into like Legos and.
Yeah, Legos are cool though.
Yeah,
Legos are really cool.
So much cooler than even when we were young kids.
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah. Now you can buy. I really want that Millennium Falcon one. I want to put that together.
Yeah,
like that's how nerdy I am. Fancy. I'm like, I want to have the Millennium Falcon and just randomly have it hanging somewhere like in my house, and see if people notice it and just be like, yeah, that's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like probably $500 or $600.
It is something ridiculous like that. Well, unless you buy it on Temu. But then I don't think you actually. I don't think you get the actual Millennium Falcon. It comes and it like looks like a pocket size like keychain thing, and you're like, oh, that's why it was $6.
Yeah, right.
Or the pieces don't fit together. Yeah, or it's like not the color that it's supposed to be.
Or it's like a Lego set or something.
Yeah, Lego.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks for chatting with me and filling us in on all things Geyser. Good things happening always.
Thanks for having me back on to talk about Geyser.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Alter Eagle. Join me every Monday for a new episode. And be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Follow us on Instagram at Alter Eagle Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, stay hopeful, stay kind.